No literary gathering would be complete without a Rupert, and we've got our own very special Rupert. Rupert Thomson, Thomson's Secrecy on Art, Suffering and Beauty. Fascinatingly, Rupert compares the creation of a novel to the art of sculpture. And when I read that initially, I thought that was just a very beautiful way to describe writing. But actually thinking on it further, it's quite a profound way to think about writing, because anyone that writes will tell you the first thing you're presented with is a blank screen upon which you must add things. The art of sculpture is the removal to show that which is contained within. So sharing his profundity, my very favourite Rupert, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Rupert Thomson.
When I lived in a South London council block in the early 80s, kids used to chant the name Rupert from the concrete balconies on my way home from work. I was, it was one of those names. Secrecy is set in Florence, and it's Florence in a dark time. The glories of the Renaissance are long gone. The Medici family is slowly dying out. A brilliant, haunted wax sculptor arrives in the city, knowing nothing of the mystery and the intrigue and the passion that lie in wait for him. I'm just going to read from near the beginning. This is the wax sculptor talking. It ought to have been one of the most exciting moments of my life. There I was, high on a ridge, looking down on Florence for the first time. Late afternoon, April the 18th, 1691. A burnt orange sun dropped, trembling from behind a bank of cloud, like something being born. Gazing at the buildings clustered below me, the jutting crenellated towers veiled by the mist rising off the river, I felt a piece of paper crackle in my pocket, a letter of invitation from Cosimo III, and yet what? Even as my eye was caught by the tilt and swirl of birds above the rooftops, I couldn't help but glance over my shoulder. Nothing there, of course. Nothing there. Only the quiet grass and the pines, austere and dense, and the mauve vault of the sky, soaring, vast. More than 15 years had passed, and still I couldn't forget what lay behind me, what followed in my tracks. I'd always feared there would come a time when, as in a dream, I would discover I was unable to run or even move, as though I were up to my waist in sand, and then it would be upon me, and all would be lost. I'd left my hometown of Syracuse in 1675, rumors snapping at my heels like a pack of dogs. I was only 19, but I knew there'd be no turning back. I rode through Catania and on along the coast, Etna looming in the western sky, Etna with its fertile slopes, its luscious fruits and flowers, its promise of destruction. From Messina, I sailed westwards. It was late July, and the night was stifling. A dull red moon, clouds edged in rust and copper. Though the air was motionless, the sea heaved and strained as if struggling to free itself, and there were moments when I thought the boat was going down. That would have been the death of me, and there were those who would have rejoiced to hear the news. I was in Palermo for a year or two, then I boarded a ship again and traveled northeast to Naples. I hadn't done what they said I'd done, but there's a kind of truth in a well-told lie, and that truth can cling to you like the taste of raw garlic or the smell of smoke. People are always ready to believe the worst. Sometimes in the viscous, fumbling hours before dawn, as I was forced once again to leave my lodgings for fear of being discovered or denounced, such a bitterness would seize me that if I happened to pass a mirror, I would scarcely recognize myself. Other times, I'd laugh in the face of what pursued me. Let them twist the facts, assassinate my character. Let them rake their muck. I would carve a path for myself, something elaborate and glorious, beyond their wildest imaginings. I would count on no one, have no one count on me. I was in many places, but I had my work, and I believed that it would save me. All the same, I lived close to the surface of my skin, as men do in a war, and I carried a knife on me at all times, even though in most towns it was forbidden. And every now and then I would go back over the past, touching cautious fingers to the damage. It was this frame of mind, always watchful, often sleepless, that I made my way, finally, to Florence. I gazed down on the city once again. Set among the palaces and tenements was the russet dome of Santa Maria del Fiore, like half a pomegranate lying face down on a cluttered dining table, its thick rind hollowed out, its jeweled fruit long gone. I could hear no cries, no bustle, but perhaps that shouldn't have surprised me. I thought of the land I'd traveled through, the farmhouses unpeopled, roofless, the highways and footpaths overgrown, the unpicked olives staring like blown pupils from their branches. Ghost country. Up on that ridge, I dropped to my knees, not in reverence or wonder, but because I wanted to contemplate the world I was about to enter, to give myself a few moments to prepare. Thank you.